All right, welcome to this new series I'm gonna call Pup Boxing. This is where I've already unboxed the product, and I'm not an unboxing channel, and so I'm just gonna tell you what's in the box and how it lives from this point onwards in one of my camera bags. Okay, so on the slab today is Insta360's new camera, the X4, which finally isn't called ONE X4, it's just called X4. I mean, it really doesn't need that many names, so I'm glad. That's the first positive point. And let me tell you, when I give Insta360 any compliments, that's like 100x worth. And once we start walking, I'll tell you why. So I've already had an X3, which I just sold. I really wanted to make a comparison video, but there's plenty of them on the internet. So just go look them up. But I am gonna test this for myself. And now he's being a handful because he's super excited because we're in an unknown area. I just pulled over and I'm hoping that I'll find some direct sunlight because it was cloudy and it just lifted. So that's very good. But there are still some clouds, and that's a good opportunity for us to see and get first impressions. I'm gonna go full auto, and let me tell you why. Because Insta360 put the same sensor in the X4 than there is in the X3, but the 5nm AI chip apparently has now revolutionized everything. So I'm gonna see what the big deal is about. It's okay, we're leaving in a minute. But in a moment, I'll just show you, this is the box, and in the box there's the X4 and standard lens guards, and then we'll talk about that as well. A Type-C cable, a protective pouch, and a cloth, and that's about it. Some documentation and stickers. But this is how it lives in my camera bag. So the protective pouch is big enough for it to stay where you are, doggy. Hang on, we're leaving in a second. Protective pouch. There's the X4. As well as there's a compartment now for the lens guards. 2 of them in there. I've already put them in there. And I also put the cloth in there because you do need to wipe the lenses as well as the actual guards to make sure that you get the best quality footage. And what I want to see, and I already checked some videos, but I want to verify for myself that the standard guard looks okay. That was my worry, that the reflection on the previous sort of makeshift adhesive guards created some sort of halo distortion. And even with the best stitching, it didn't look right. I didn't like it. So I never put one on. And then I learned the hard way. So let me just put this together, see if I can maybe pair the mic to wirelessly to the X4, and then we'll walk around with a selfie stick. And also he gets to explore the area. So bear with. 3, 2, 1. All right, so that's the good thing about a 360 cam, is now I can just concentrate on the dog as he's exploring his first spring. And everything is super interesting, and he's not very well behaved these days. So hopefully the sound is okay. This wireless Bluetooth connection is not exactly as good as you would get if you were to use the DJI receiver and connect it via USB-C. So I'm going to confirm that, and I've also got 1/3 of a stop under, and so we've got direct sunlight, very harsh sunlight as well, and so we'll see how pretty much full auto with 1/3 of a stop under looks as I'm going underneath these trees, admittedly very beautiful trees, while I'm telling you about my history with Insta360, right? And I got an X3. I was super excited. I got it for one particular purpose, which I did use it for, and that's not where the problem happened, and that was to mount it on the back of my car and make videos driving around, sort of like a race game simulation type of shot, okay? And that's not where the issue was, and he's going absolutely bonkers for these like little pieces of dandelion, I think. The problem started with me using it at another event. A friend of mine held a flash mob for her dance school, and the event went well. A kid almost knocked the 360 camera over, but I was vigilant and, you know, no issues there. Problem happened when I was putting it in the trunk, and the pouch that the X3 came with is super tight. If you have one, you probably know what I'm talking about. Slipped, fell, no major accident there, but unfortunately it fell from around 2 feet, and yeah, I got 5 or 6 scratch marks on the fisheye lens. No, it's not something you can polish. It's never gonna look good. So yeah, I paid $170, and that was one of the issues. I didn't want to stick any protective lens covers on it because I checked the footage of others and I didn't like it, so that was an issue. There was no way to connect a wireless microphone to it without connecting a receiver, of course, so that's another issue. What else did we have? No battery percentage. And also, I found out the hard way. I used it at a concert and I left it there behind the drummer. It was supposed to record the whole stage and the audience, you know, just go as wide as you can. Only to find out that it stopped recording at 29 minutes. And apparently it's supposed to continue recording, although it does take 40-50 seconds to start recording again. Mine never did. So yeah, we got the first 29 minutes of the set from that angle, and that, you know, that's just another thing to watch out for. All right, you want to go for it? 1, 2, 3, go. You're not very good at hunting. So my other issue was that Insta360 wasn't exactly consistent with updating me on my repair, and it took around 3 weeks. Yeah, they told me that it arrived, but they didn't actually know where it was. Then they told me that they are assessing it, but in reality it was still sitting in the pile of boxes. Anyway, days go by, a week or 2 goes by, I already paid, and then they ship it back using standard service, which took around a week instead of 2 days, which is what I paid for. So I wasn't very happy. And so they announced the X4, and I'm obviously eager to see what they've improved on. And the first thing I notice is I check the specs, and it says same 1/2-inch sensors. Now I'm like, okay, well, let's hope that that gets better. But they did actually improve on a lot of other things. First of all, I can now use a wireless microphone without having to use the receiver plugged in. That's good. Second thing is the 8K is welcome, but it's not really 8K, but you do get higher resolution once you reframe and export. So that's good. The lens cover situation, that was an easy fix if you think about it. And now they've also rolled out a adhesive base so that you can use replaceable covers for the X3. That's nice. That's really about redeeming and repairing relationships. So that's all right. So that's really good on that front as well. Battery life, now that's a marketing trick right there. Talk about 135 minutes, but not in the highest resolution. That is actually shorter. And so I will be running this at 8K and see how long I can get the battery to continuously record, which is why I'm going to go and pick up a 256 gig card in a minute, because I don't have anything that could continuously record if that does record for a long time. And the last frustration that I had that they haven't fixed is the battery percentage, to my knowledge. I just ran through the menus and I didn't see it anywhere. And yeah, I mean, that I don't understand. We're living in modern times and AI and all, and I can't view the battery percentage. And also, they lifted the 29-minute limit, so apparently that shouldn't be an issue anymore. So hopefully I can now protect this. I also got the cover for it, the Insta360 FlexiCare is what they call it now. I learned my lesson, that's fine. I've got accidental damage cover for everything else. That was the only product, but hey, that's Murphy's Law. What could go wrong will go wrong. So I've learned my lesson. All right, now in a minute I'm going to stand somewhere where maybe I can put on the protective covers, because this is without the protective covers. And then we can see whether we get any sort of weird halo or any artifacts. So, all right, bear with. All right, let's do this. Let me just see. Okay, it is recording myself. So this is without the protective lens covers. I'm just gonna show you around, and I'm gonna check, sort of multiple angles. Hopefully that highlight blowout over there is not too bad. There's no need for me to rotate anything because it's a 360 camera, but should have brought sunglasses. Let's see if that makes any difference. Okay, so we'll try and replicate this with the guard, okay? Moment of truth. Hang on. Alright. So this is now with the lens cover on. And we're just gonna turn around while I wrap myself in the leash of my puppy. Okay. Alright, so if I'm recording myself, I'm blinding myself at the same time. Let me just check what that looks like. Don't know why I would do that. Alright, well, for the rest of this video, let's go back. Come on. While these protective covers are on, and then I'll let you know what I see, what I don't, and I'll tell you about this selfie stick as well that it's on. The weather's going to be nicer from now on, so hopefully tomorrow, if any of these need to be repeated, I can do that. Come on. Come on, boy. I know you want to sniff everything. Good boy. Maybe I should do a puppy review. Because if you want to experience what 2.5 months of sleep deprivation is, like, get yourself a poodle. Oh boy, you and your separation anxiety, crazy. Come on. Okay, let's see how you look like at reframed 8K video. Hang on. Hello, boy. Where you at? Show yourself. Alright, let's walk to the other side. And then I'll put you down on the pavement. Hang on. Hold on, boy. Ooh, I see some dogs in the distance. There's one barking there, too. So what y'all think? Come on, give me some comments. And if you're new to this channel, cameras, drones, cars, events, and generally my struggle to become my own boss, basically. So welcome to the channel. What is this building? Okay, let's see. Let me raise this up. I'm wondering if the new sensor allows me to show you those little flying bits in the air, which also gives me a sneeze fest pretty much every hour, but that's all fine. Come on, boy, chase him. Get him. He's so easily entertained. Come on, boy. Can't wait till you start sneezing all over the car. So that's the thing with the 360 camera. I can now pretty much show you what's going on without actually having to move. There you go. Now you start coughing. Stop eating them. Come on, let's go. So I can show you around without having to continuously mind where the camera's looking, where it's pointed, what it's doing. So come on, leave them. Let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna get back and then I'm gonna review this footage and let you know what I think. And when we get back to the car, I'll show you what to look out for if you're choosing a selfie stick for your 360 camera. All right, let's do it. Before we do that, shall we check what this tree looks like, if this lets us. And the good thing is, no matter how far this go, I forgot to lock it. Hang on, shit. I should have started here. Okay, hang on. Extend this, twist. Extend this, twist. Spoiler alert, it's better to get one that works with friction, so you don't have to continuously raise and twist and all that stuff. Here we go. Is that 3 meters? Probably not 3 meters, no. Okay, this is the maximum length. Okay, that's 3 meters now. Okay, let's see what life is like up there. Okay, ready? Good. Okay, now that you had a good look and I made a fool of myself on the street, let's end this here and get back to the car. Spoiler alert, that's the issue. Alright, now hang on. So what you just saw there is exactly what happened to the first version of this. This is the Telesin Carbon Fiber 3-meter selfie stick, and on paper it's perfect. It's lightweight, durable, doesn't bend much even when extended 6 feet or beyond. But this is where the trouble lies, okay? Just hold on a second. Let me see if I can get this off. This has a 1/4-inch screw on the bottom, right? But what it doesn't have is actually a screw thread. Even though on the inside, you can see there, you can see that it's supposed to be like a screw-on solution, but it's stuck with a very bad quality adhesive. And that's the second time this happened to me, so I thought, okay, well, they swapped it straight away. This time we agreed that they will actually give me an upgrade to a 3-meter Insta360 extended edition, which I'm very, very happy about. Because what happens is exactly what I was scared it was going to happen, is that this simply dried up, and when you screw something like the Insta360 all-purpose tripod leg, which I have, onto it, actually it will not bear that sort of pressure, and when you're twisting it, this eventually just, the glue that it was holding, it just gave away. So yeah, watch out for your 360 cameras and anything that you mount on top of one of these. I tried to reach out to them back in mid-November. I'm still waiting for a response. So yeah, these are the sort of things that you can learn from me on this channel, things to watch out for. So now, thankfully, because next week the replacement is coming and they're taking this one away and they're giving me an Insta360 one. But this is how I'm gonna have to give it back to them, unfortunately, which is a bit embarrassing. I'll try and fix it, but at least they see the issue, which I already sent a photo and a video of. So, all right, cool. Well, I'll get back to you once I've reviewed the footage. Thank you. Okie doke. So, I thought I'd stop now. Golden hour, right? And also, when I got back in the car, I realized I didn't enable the lens guard mode, which doesn't matter because this new one has automatic detection, which I believe was on by default. Plus, you can actually do it afterwards in the Mac or PC app. So it shouldn't matter, but I thought, okay, why not do another test now when we are here? So I'm gonna do a quick turn around like this, get blinded by the sun. Good. Puppy over there. Maybe just do this, see how it reacts to this. Yeah, I can't see anything. And now I'm gonna put the lens guard on, enable the stitching mode, although apparently it doesn't matter, and then we'll see it again. Let's do it. Okay, now this is with the standard lens guard, so I'm hoping that at no point does this sort of distort or give any sort of weird halo. My dog is leaving me behind. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do a little bit of sky in the background. There is maybe some banding over there, but again, it is a 1/2-inch sensor, so it does have limitations. 1/3 of a stop under, just for clarity. See how it is. I mean, hopefully it's okay with the standard lens guard, because that's what I'd like to use on the long run. So, all right, we'll let you know how these look. Okie doke. Right, so just a quick nighttime test. I'm holding the stick at a bit of an unnatural angle due to the fact that it fell apart, as I mentioned earlier, and literally just all the pieces inside are no longer held by anything but gravity, so I have to hold this stick a little bit further up than I'd like to. So this is now an 8K 30, and the camera does automatically recommend that you switch to 5.7K 30 for it to work better at night, but I am curious, so I'm just gonna do a quick test here as we're walking down to the main square of our town. Hopefully you can see this new basketball court that they built, and I am hoping that the audio is still okay. So I'm going to switch over now. The lens guard is on, and I'm going to keep it on for now because I'm more interested in to see if any artifacts happen due to the lens guard. So as we're doing our little last walk of the day, come on. Yes, somebody peed there. Let's go. I'm going to switch over to 5.7K as recommended by the camera, and then we'll see how that looks. Ready? Let's do it. All right, in 5.7K now. Just chose the setting that it recommended. No wizardry there. Tomorrow I'm going to film the rest of my thoughts, as well as I'm actually going to do a little test tonight. I'm going to run 8K until it completely depletes. So I'm going to charge up to 100%, and then I'm going to run it down to 0. So, cool. Let's see how that looks. Nice. Very, very nice. If you've got any questions, pop them down in the comments below. I do enjoy getting back to people about technical questions. So this new mega view is quite nice. I just quickly did a preview on the app. It does look very nice. It does sort of keep the straight lines as straight as possible. So good stuff. Come on, boy. Let's go. All right. Be right back once we get to the main square. Okay, 5.7K main square. There's dark areas, light areas. I'm gonna walk all the way across, and then when we start walking backwards, then I'll switch over to 8K again. One thing I will spoil is I'm surprised there is no AI light night mode, actually. Hello. Come on, boy. Come on. Yeah, I'm surprised there's no AI night mode in this. Night mode has been the rage for the past few years in all cameras, and we're going down in sizes now as night modes and like action cameras like the Action 4 by DJI. So I'm surprised that they were not ready to put this in the X4, despite the fact that it's in the Insta360 Ace Pro. So it is what it is. All right. All right, harsh lights over here. Cool. Let's do a little lap around this one. And now we're back to 8K, so we'll just go around. Come on, boy, let's go. And then we'll walk back the same path we walked and see if 8K makes a difference. I wonder as I'm walking if there's going to be any vibrations due to the fact that this is sensor stabilized, right? This is not a physical gimbal stabilized camera. So ready? Let's go. Over there is Saint Stephen, founding father of our country. His original name was not Stephen, but he took that name to get the country into the Christian community with the blessing of the Pope, and also vowed to take in anybody who's in need, which is a stark contrast to what our government currently believes. So, all right, a bit of politics there for you. Come on, let's go. Come on. He's still learning how to walk on command. All right, cool. What y'all think? 8K or 5.7? Again, this is full auto. I just want to know what their claims are and what reality is. So, all right, see you tomorrow. Let me tell you something.
Wait, let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something. Wait.
That refers to the time I told Insta360 that I'd rather light myself on fire than buy one of their products again. If I want to be very honest with all of you, I need to extend an olive branch to Insta360. Testing the ONE X4, I think I quickly realized that although on the surface it didn't seem like much of an upgrade, but they've done a whole lot of improvement under the hood. So I've got my list of things here that I want to mention. I'm going to go through it, not take too much of your time. Hopefully the footage will sort of help illustrate what I mean as well, and I'll also make sure I edit in what I'm talking about in the meantime. So yeah, the daytime and nighttime footage, certainly it handles highlights much better than the previous generation. So the 5nm chip is helping, which is really good. And that's not just the footage, but also the processor and the navigation and the menus and the way it turns on quickly and the power it consumes. All of that is greatly helped by the new chip. Do I wish that they put in the 1/1/3 inch sensor from the Ace Pro? 100%, but that's not happening now, and I don't think that we should dwell too much on it. Maybe next generation, who knows? Definitely the physical differences, it is slightly larger, but it's not a major thing. If you have, you know, a selfie stick, tripod leg combination that has a very specific weight, you do need to be aware of the extra 20 something grams of weight. So just do consider that as well. Battery, let's talk about the battery. There are major improvements here, but we do have to just mention and give a shout out to the YouTubers that didn't go with the 135 minutes without explaining what that actually means. And what I mean by that is that's 5.7K. And 8K, they do claim 75 minutes, and I tested it, and I'll show you what happened. Actually, it recorded for 40 odd minutes, and then it overheated, and I realized a few minutes later that it wasn't recording. I was checking in on it every few minutes, and then I restarted it, and the total amount that it recorded for an 8K, under similar circumstances that Insta360 conducted its research, it performed around 73 minutes of recording, which is very good because they claim 75, and that's a very, very minor difference because it's not the same laboratory conditions. It also works without the battery now, so if you're in a situation where you can actually power your Insta360, you don't need to put the battery in, you don't need to worry about battery life, and maybe exposing the side of it actually helps with the overheating as well. So just be aware that it is possible to overheat in 8K, but it is 8K. And they don't have a benchmark either. They don't have an 8K X series camera, so it's not like we could say, hey, this wasn't an improvement. This is the new benchmark, and next generation will hopefully improve on the 73 or 75 minutes that they claim. There's also a battery indicator. So in the beginning of this video I mentioned, but I did a firmware update and I also just did a bit of exploring. There's no specific menu for it. You just tap the battery and it reveals how many percent you still have left of your battery. But it's a very welcome change because I finally now can calculate how quickly it depletes. There is also charging time, and I charged it back from 4%, so it refuses to do anything around 5%. So between 5 and 6%, it just shuts down and says, hey, I'm going to switch off in 15 seconds, and it goes into this limp mode, so you really can't do anything because it will automatically switch off no matter what you do after 15 seconds. So that's something to keep in mind. But from 4%, I left it overnight for it to maybe do a bit of vampire drain, and from 4% up to 100%, it took pretty much an hour, I think. So that's something to also keep in mind. I think they claim 55 minutes, it's around an hour, but now you can press the Q button whilst it's off, and you can see how many percent you've charged so far, which is very good because it's also just gives you a little bit of more real life scenario when you're working with multiple pieces of equipment and you need to charge it and you can't power it completely, then you actually know after a few seconds how many percentage you still have left. So the DJI Mic 2 works with it wirelessly. You don't need to attach the receiver, and in my opinion, they may have done something with the firmware upgrade because it sounds much better than the initial YouTube reviews that, you know, day zero came out after the embargo. So I'm very happy with it for vlogging, for general sort of recording as a secondary camera, or to give to the talent to record some behind the scenes or whatever it is, and they don't need to worry about framing. 100%. Mic 2 pop it on, connect it via Bluetooth, and it also, just by holding the link button again, you can just repair it, as I've just done now, to the Osmo Pocket 3, or if you have an Action 4 from DJI. So the switching between the two, although not automated in any way, but it is fairly seamless and it is easy to do so. So kudos to the two companies working together. In the first test, I forgot to enable the correct lens guard mode. However, that is possible to fix in the computer app, which is really, really nice, as well as it's by default set to automatically recognize what lens guard it has on. There is some distortion, so we do have to talk about the lens guards causing some issues with the quality of the footage. There is some haloing here and there when direct sunlight hits the lens, but it's not something that I would, you know, disregard the footage for. It's not a deal breaker for me. So I'm very delighted to see improvements on that front as well. I haven't tested the premium lens guard. If I get my hands on it, I might use it, but to be honest, it being glass, although it might improve the quality a little bit, it might break a lot easier too. So there's pros and cons. One of them scratches easily, the other one breaks easily, so to each their own. Another welcome change is one file instead of two. So now it doesn't create two files for the two separate lenses. And it also, obviously, due to the H.265 that it now uses, it also results in smaller files. And there's also a 5.7K plus mode, which we have to mention, which is basically a pixel binned 8K that is smaller file than the 8K version, but it is larger than the 5.7K, and it's available only up to 30 frames a second. But if you want that extra quality of the 8K image, you now have an extra option, so that's good. Gestures, definitely welcome addition that you can now hold up a peace sign or your palm, and actually it starts recording photos or videos, which is good because if you set it down and you walk away back to a group, it does recognize it up to a few meters. I tested it, it worked each time, it's great. That's also another good option for you. Just makes everyday sort of casual camera users a little bit more happier. On the list of improvements, it does interact with the app much faster, as well as it allows you now to receive live notifications, for instance, on your iPhone. So if you are downloading a larger file which takes longer, you can now lock your phone, leave it, come back and check on it, and it does give you a live perspective of how quickly you're getting through your downloads, which is really good. The X3 came with Pure Shot, but you have to do it post taking the image. Now actually you don't have to download the image and apply Pure Shot. Actually you can do it in camera and then download the file already with the improvements. I guess that 5nm chip is a big deal after all. One thing I did notice is that sometimes waking up the camera tends to be iffy. Hopefully just a firmware issue and they'll update it. I never had an issue with the X3, but with the X4 sometimes it doesn't want to wake up, and that could just be my unit, but that's just something to watch out for. Once it does kick in, then it is a little bit faster than the X3 to connect and get you going. My particular unit does have a little bit of a hard time with the charge port door. It does sort of get sticky a little bit, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Could just be a faulty unit, but just do check yours when you get it. These little quality issues. Insta360 is still in its sort of ramp-up phase, so you know, maybe their quality control issues does leave something to be desired.
There's also something to note here. One of my favorite features about the X3 was that you could use it as a webcam, and now that's not available with the X4. This is official Insta360, so it's not just a rumor. It's not a feature that you currently have, but hopefully it will be restored, because that was one of the best features. When you connect a 360 camera to something like WebEx or Zoom, you get two 16:9 images, so you can cover 6 to 8 people sitting at a table with just one device. I also noticed that there is now a new reverse charging option, which is quite cool, so that if something like your DJI Mic 2 is running low on power, then you can plug it in directly to the X4 and you can reverse charging. You can even set a limit to what percentage you want to go down to on the 360 camera.
And so to leave you with my final thoughts, what do I think? If you don't have a 360 camera, this is the best model to jump in with. It's only $100 difference, I believe, between the X3 and the X4 in most markets, but the difference is pretty big. It leaves a lot of the frustrations behind, certainly for me, and certainly repaired the relationship with what I'm feeling towards Insta360. their flow state stabilization is still top of the game, and their image quality is improving. And also now there's multiple options for you to protect your device. They do have, you know, accidental damage cover as well as physical attachments that you can now, by design, apply to your camera. So I'm happy on that front. I am going to test the extended edition 3-meter stick, as well as I've picked up a 114 centimeters action invisible stick. So those, I'll tell you if you want to know any questions about them or in general about the camera. This is sort of what I do here. I do reviews on cars, cameras, drones, and maybe just a little bit of behind the scenes on what I do on a day-to-day basis as an aspiring professional photographer and videographer. So if you like this video, it helps out a lot. If you subscribe, it helps out even more. We're growing day by day. So thanks so much for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one.